Hi everyone, Rule 303 here again. Just wanted to talk today about bolts, sticky bolts, rough bolts on new guns. So I bought this CZ457, beautiful gun, love shooting it. And the only problem that I've really had with it is the bolt just feels awful. The trigger was very heavy, as they usually are when they come from the factory. Don't want anybody getting sued. And that was easy enough to adjust, just a quick spring job. The bolt, however, has just, I've oiled it and tried to break it in and shoot it in, and I'm thousands of rounds down the road and the bolt's still sticky. So basically we need to do something about that, because it's a pain and it takes away from a little bit of the enjoyment of shooting and concentration when that crunchy bolt is just catching all the time. It works perfectly fine, but it just needs to be adjusted in terms of its smoothness and consistency on the run. When you flip the bolt up, pull it back, push it forward and drop it down again, it feels like it's catching on sort of microscopic little obstructions or whatever. So I'm no gunsmith, so please, take everything I say just with a bit of caution, really. But what I did, and what has actually worked, I really should have done a before and after shot on this, but I didn't think, because I was modging about and did something and it happened to work. But what I did to smooth this bolt out, I'll just get the bolt here, and the area that was really catching, if this is the bolt, like this, is the underside here. Now what CZ do is they really aggressively stamp in the serial numbers and the well, it looks to me like the proof numbers have also been stamped in really aggressively, and what it does is it actually lifts some of the surface of this metal here, which is that basically when the bolt moves back and forth, that is catching. And also any microscopic kind of like parts of metal that's sticking out on any of these surfaces here is going to obstruct the bolt. So what I did was, I've got a particularly good knife sharpening kit, and I've got some of these stones which are really good, and this particular one is 1500 grit, so it's quite fine. And what I did was just really carefully, I just smoothed these surfaces here like this. Okay, now the side of the stone there is obviously getting into that edge. Just really carefully just gave it a smooth, and you can actually feel the little tiny pieces of metal coming off. Really therapeutic process. So what I did was I went through all of these really sharp edges and just gently stone them. Did it all over on the other side too, especially over those numbers. You're not massively aggressively giving this loads and loads of welly, you just letting it go back and forth, let the weight of the stone do the work. On these edges here, some of these edges when they're machined on some guns, and especially Marlins, I've found, are really sharp. So you can use the stone just to really carefully just get rid of those abrasive obstructions. Now what you're not doing is removing whole shit tons of metal here. You don't want to be doing that, okay? All you're doing is just using the weight of the stone. You're not actually changing the bolt in any intrinsic way. You're just smoothing off, and you'll hear it and you'll feel it when you're smoothing off some of those areas where there is, like around that serial number there. Okay, so the whole process for me from beginning to end took around about 20 minutes. So after I stoned it, I gave it a good old rub down. And already, if you drop it back into your rifle already, you'll notice it's amazingly different. It really is. And then I've put it away now, so I'm not going to demonstrate it, but I got my Dremel, and I used a Dremel pad and a little bit of Jeweler's Rouge to really kind of like shine this up and get it into a really great state where it's really nice and shiny and really smooth. I mean, you can see already it is actually, you can, if you look, you can actually see the areas. They're actually smooth, believe it or not, but they're the areas, if you can see where that's catching the light there. I don't know if you can, just on the corner there of that middle runner, you can actually see where some of those tiny bits of metal have just come off. Like I said, use absolute caution here. We're not looking at changing the shape of things on any kind of visual level. We're not removing a load of metal here. We're not filing away. We're very, very carefully polishing, very carefully polishing. But it doesn't matter if it takes a while, just, you know, go with it. It's quite therapeutic, I find. Just do it, give it a good old wipe, and then go over it with your Dremel with a polishing pad on it. And then what you'll find is you've got, firstly, a lot more shinier bolt, but then secondly, when you put the bolt into the gun, what you'll find is that bolt is already, you can hear that obstruction is just the magazine, if you think it's catching on something. But I mean, that is just beautiful by comparison to what it was. That is lovely before it was catching all over the place. And if we just add the tiniest amount of oil to this, people go mad with oil, but I don't think you need a massive amount. Just a little tiny bit, just one drop. There we go. This is good old Hoppies number 9. Can't really get this very easily in the UK, but you can get it from Brownells if you order it. I just use my finger, just put it all over, just a little bit. There we are. And then sometimes I'll just turn it over and I'll just kind of give it a little tiny bit of a rub, just put a tiny little bit around there, like that, all over. You're not going absolutely mad here, you're not drowning it in oil, because actually you're going to cause yourself even more problems if you over oil things. It tends to attract dirt and crap and all sorts of stuff you don't want in your gun. And pop the bolt back in. And then, oh my life, I can't tell you just how different that is from what it was. That really, really is a massive, massive difference. That is so smooth now. And it's really easy to do. If you haven't got any stones, then get some. They might cost a little bit, but they're good. They're very good to have around for gunsmithing things, triggers, bolts, sharpening knives, you name it. But as you can see, I'm addicted to doing it. I'm going to be doing this all night. That is brilliant. Really pleased with that. So I hope that helps you. If you need any more advice on smoothing down your bolt, then put it in the comments, or check out any of the other YouTube videos that there are. I'm not an expert, but they're the basics, and that worked for me. So give it a try. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks very much.